boys and girls, children of Buddhist Sunday School, parents, grandparents, and teachers of Buddhist Sunday School. Very good morning to all of you. May you all be well, happy, and peaceful. Today we are going to have a story, a simple story that has good moral values. The title of the story is Ginger, the Giraffe. Now we are going to narrate the story, explain the story, and at the end, we are going to look at some very important moral lessons and also some good points of Dhamma, right? So now let us launch the PowerPoint as usual. Now you see the cover slide. It's taken from actually the internet, and then I did a PowerPoint inserting all the pictures and images and some animations. So as I said, the story is titled Ginger the Giraffe. It's a story with moral values. And you can see here, the story involves some animals. The main character is the giraffe. This is the giraffe you can see here. And then also you have the monkey and some other animals you will see as we go along. Of course, here, this is the flying eagle, right? The eagle. Now, I think I'll take off my photo. Okay, so now let us go to the next slide. This is also from the cover of the book, Ginger the Giraffe, right? Now, you can see here the elephants, right? The deer, and this is the giraffe. It is in this savanna land, the dry, grassy land in Africa, right? So sometimes it can get very hot, and you will see what happens when it gets very hot in the desert area, or you can say the dry area. Once upon a time, there was a giraffe named Ginger. Ginger lived in Kenya, a country in Africa. Like all giraffes, Ginger had a long neck and long legs. Because she was so tall, she was able to eat food from the very tops of the trees in the savanna. The savanna, the grassy land, right? The savanna in Africa is an area with lots of grass and some trees, as I said just now. Sometimes a savanna is called grasslands. The other animals like zebras and antelopes could not reach where Ginger could reach, but Ginger always found food. She loved the leaves and the new buds of the trees. Now here, this is an antelope, right? It's of the same family as the deer. I think we have done the story involving deer in the Jataka stories before. And here you can see the deer, quite close, The difference lies in the horns, I think. So this is the giraffe with the long neck, standing very tall, so he can reach to the tops of the trees to eat the leaves of the trees. So it's quite a very, very unusual animal, right? You can see it in the zoo. You can hear that's the actual sound of a giraffe, That's the sound of a giraffe. One day, Ginger was busy eating her favorite leaves along with some other giraffes. It was a bright, sunny day, and there was not a cloud in the sky. It had not rained for a long time, so the grass was very dry. She heard a noise down at the bottom of her extra long legs. It was her friend, Mickey, the monkey. Mickey was trying to say something, but Ginger couldn't understand what he was saying. He looked very tired. "What's wrong?" asked Ginger. Ginger was a very kind giraffe and wanted to help everyone. Just then, Mickey fell over. Now you see, from the story, a time came where the weather was very hot, the clouds had disappeared, so it was very dry because it had not rained for a long time, So the grass was very dry. So the animals, poor animals, could hardly eat the grass. Then that she heard, Ginger heard the sound of a monkey. And she found that it was her friend, Mickey. And Mickey was actually trying to tell Ginger something. But, Ginger couldn't understand what he was saying. So he was very, very tired. So Ginger asked, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" And actually this giraffe Ginger, was a very kind-hearted animal. He had compassion, metta, which is very good, isn't it? And he wanted to help everyone. And just as he was just wondering what happened to Mickey, Mickey fell over. That means he fell down. He fell against the side, and then he just was lying down already. Now, what actually happened? So, Ginger was also a smart giraffe. She knew what was wrong. Mickey couldn't find anything to eat, and he was very hungry. So, the giraffe was very smart. He knew that in this hot weather, it was difficult for the animals to find the grass that could be eaten, whereas he could still eat the leaves from the tall trees. So what did Ginger do? Ginger nibbled, right? She bit on some fresh, tender leaves and buds from the top of the tree where she was eating. You could see a tall tree there. So she bit some of the fresh, very young, tender leaves and buds. And then what did she do? She dropped some of the leaves and buds to the ground near where Mickey was. You can see the picture here. So he put some leaves and the buds near the monkey, near Mickey the monkey. Then she nudged him with a little with the hoop at the bottom of her very long legs. Now you see at the bottom of the long legs, you could see the feet. Now we call the hoops the heart. So she sort of used the hoop and just give a slight kick right to Mickey. It's called nudging, a slight kick. And then she told the friend, "Wake up, Mickey, wake up," said Ginger. "I found something for you to eat." And slowly Mickey sat up, look, right? He sat up, then he could eat a little and he could get the strength from eating the leaves. So let us look at the next one. Now you hear the sound of the monkey. That's the actual sound of a monkey, So after a while of eating so when Mickey was feeling better, Ginger asked him, "What's happened, Mickey?" Why are you so hungry? Why can't you find anything to eat? Mickey said, it hasn't rained for a long time already, for so long. And now there's no more food. That's not good, said Ginger. What's happening with the other animals? No one knows what to do, answered Mickey. All the zebras and the antelopes and the elephants are getting worried about the dry grass because they had no food lah, right? The grass are very, very dry, so we couldn't serve as food for the animal. Some of them are thinking about leaving the savanna, the grasslands, leave this area and move over to try to reach to the jungle, to go to the jungle deeper inside. That's a long trip, said Ginger. Are you going to go with them? So the giraffe asked Mickey whether he will be going with the rest of the animals to the jungle on the other side of the savanna, the grasslands. I don't know, answered Mickey. What do you think we should do? So Ginger, the giraffe, thought for a while, and then suddenly she had a good idea. We should go talk to Leo the lion. You're going to have the lion Leo. He's the smartest animal in the savannah. People regard the lion as the king of all the animals. All the other animals, including big animals like elephants, also respect the lion and they are quite afraid of the lion, So that's why it's called King of the Beasts. You might have seen the movie The Lion King, a beautiful animated cartoon movie. You should see if you have not watched The Lion King. So Mickey was too tired to walk, right? He was still tired, but at least he showed improvement after eating the grass that giraffe gave. So Ginger invited him to ride on her back. So Ginger the giraffe invited Mickey the monkey to go onto his back and take a ride. And she said, hold on tight to my neck, said Ginger. That's a lot to hold on to, joke monkey. The monkey now also had a sense of humor. He said, wow, to hold on to your neck so long, which part of the neck? Of course, it should be the one near the back, right? You're sitting on the back, isn't it? On the back of the giraffe. Ginger laughed also. You are right. I've got the longest neck in Africa. Very, very long neck. So they started their journey across to the other side of the savanna to look for Leo the lion. Now you can hear the roar of the lion. That's the actual sound made by a lion. So Ginger and Mickey were in luck. Leo was sitting up on a rock and it was really easy to see as they walked through the grass. And of course, he was roaring. Hi, Leo, they both shouted. Leo had been napping, sleeping had been napping and was a little grumpy, especially when you just get up from a nap when you woke him up, isn't it? But he was quite polite, this lion, and said, hello, Ginger and Mickey. Why did you walk the whole way across the savannah just to wake me up? But he was joking. He had a smile on his face. Mickey says that there is no food left on the savannah because it's been so dry. said Ginger the giraffe. Do you have any ideas? So Mickey asked the lion, Leo the lion, whether he had any ideas to save the situation. So Leo thought for a while. He said, there's nothing we can do about the rain. It will come soon, but we can't be sure when it will arrive. When the rain comes, all the plants will grow again, and there will be lots of food for everybody. He thought a little longer. The only thing I can think of is for everyone to move closer to the forest. He continued. There will be more things to eat there, but I know it's a long trip and it will not be very easy. It might take days to get there. So that was his suggestion. He said all the animals, right, because of the dry, hot weather with no food, they would have to migrate further into the forest or the jungle. So in the forest, there would be trees, right? And, there would be some grass also. But it was quite far away, and it would take a few days, a long trip to get there. But he couldn't think of any other idea. So that's what Leo told Ginger the giraffe and Mickey the monkey. So Ginger and Mickey looked at each other and then looked back at Leo. Thank you, Leo, said Ginger. It's probably best if they all try to get closer to the jungle. So the giraffe agreed with the lion. So they said goodbye and then walked back across the savannah, right? So the giraffe and the monkey walked back to the savannah to find the other animals that were suffering because of no food. Now they needed to gather all of the animals together, right? They must gather all together to start the long journey towards the jungle. Ginger didn't need to go along because she had plenty of food in her high trees. He could actually get at the food. But she was a very kind, compassionate animal and a good friend to all. As you see her, but she was a good friend and wanted to help as much as she could. So a very, very good-hearted animal to help others. She was kind. She could think of the others even though she could actually get food on her own. So what did they do? They walked towards her favorite trees, and guess what she and Monkey saw? There were trees there, but then the other animals couldn't reach the leaves of the tall trees. So what did the giraffe, Ginger and Mickey see? So you could see here, right? The eagle. Actually, there was an eagle flying, right? There was also an eagle you could see. But apart from that, all of the animals were already gathered there and waiting for Ginger and Mickey, the animals, the zebras, the elephants, all right, the deer. So they were already waiting for Ginger and Mickey, hoping that they would help them because they had no food. Right. Why are you all here? Asked Ginger. Eddie, the eagle, told us that you are taking us to the edge of the jungle, said one of the zebras. So what did the zebra say? So the zebra told Ginger that it was the eagle. Just now I told you, and they met with eagle. It was the eagle that told them that Ginger, the giraffe, would lead them to the edge of the jungle. How did he know? Asked Mickey the monkey. He heard you talking with Leo. So the eagle was there, flying high above in the sky. So this eagle heard the conversation between Ginger and the lion Leo. So that was what one of the antelopes, the antelope you could see here, the antelope said lah. He heard you talking with Leo, said one of the antelopes. So you have all decided to try to walk together to the jungle? Asked Ginger. Yes, they all answered. If you'll help us to get there, added one of the elephants. Of course, I'll help, said Ginger. I'm your friend. So they were all waiting for Ginger, the giraffe, to lead them. They wouldn't know the direction probably. To lead them to the edge of the forest where they could find food. So that was what Giraffe, right? The giraffe told them, right? So let's see what would happen, because it would be a very long trip, a few days, and they had not eaten. So would any of them die? Could they endure the very tiring journey? Of course, the monkey, a good friend of the giraffe, did not have to walk lah. He could hitch a ride on the back of Ginger. So let's see what is going to happen. So they started on their big journey across the savannah, the grassy land, moving towards the jungle where there would be green trees and some bushes, right? And grass, green grass. The sun was so hot and there was no food and no place to get a drink of water because it had not rained for quite some time. Wow, it was real suffering, So suddenly what happened? And then they heard it. It was thunder. Thunder. They all shouted. You know what it means, sir? When you have thunder and then later on lightning, it would mean rain. So actually, thunder was very scary to the animals of the savannah, but now, right, it came as a relief also because it would bring rain. But then something else happened, Can you guess why they were also afraid of the thunder? Because in this hot weather, very dry, with all the grassy areas, the grasses all very dry. So the thunder like this, and then with the lightning coming, could cause a fire, could cause the savanna grass to burn. You have heard of bushfires in Australia, in America, when the weather was very, very hot, isn't it? So it was very dangerous. Imagine if it would burn the whole of the savannah. Wow, the animals got no home to stay already. So where would they stay? They depended on the grassy land. So they knew, right, that sometimes the lightning hits the dry grass and the whole savannah catches fire. You can see here, right? So then everyone has to run because it will spread, the fire can spread very, very fast. So they knew they had to run. So, and that's exactly what happened. Fire! They shouted. They could smell it. The smoke with the very foul smell, burning smell, blackish smoke. And now they could see it already. The fire was coming towards them. Probably there would be some wind blowing, So very dangerous, isn't it? So if they not to run, then what will happen to be? The fire will catch upon them and burn them to death. And that was what happened, when fires happen in the jungles, the Amazon jungle, or the bushes in Africa, or the areas in California. So a lot of plants, fauna and flora, a lot of animals would be wiped out. It's terrible, isn't it? So one of the causes is man's doing also, right? In these dry, hot areas, there are some silly fellas still do open burning. They would go near the areas and they might, light a match when they wanted to smoke, when they want to smoke. So all this can cause fire. And also, if you do too much of destruction of forests, no protection and so on, logging and so on. So many factors man also cause this, right? So the fire was coming towards them already. So what happens? Let's see. Did any animal die? Could they run off in time? Would the savannah be destroyed? Ginger had to think fast, right? She quickly used her mind to think because she was so tall, she could see farther or further than any of the other animals in it, right? The neck was long, so she stretched her long neck up as far as she could. Now she could see a place where there was no fire, right? So she could see with her eyes and the long neck. So quick, she said, everyone, run this way. So all of the animals followed her to run to the place where there was no fire. And they ran as fast as they could. Sooner they were out of danger. So further away from the fire already. So they stopped and gathered together one more time. Is everyone here? Ginger asked. Female Ginger lah. She wanted to make sure they were also safe. So they were all safe lah. So caring, so compassionate, so kind, full of metta. What good qualities, isn't it, that the giraffe had? So all the animals look around. Oh, they were all there. So no one was killed, right? No one collapsed because of hunger. So they were now in a safe area. So let's see what happens. And then the most wonderful thing happened. You know what happened? A zebra said, I felt a drop of water lah. Me too, said an antelope. It was rain. The rain came. Finally, everyone was very happy. It started to rain a little more, and then a little more, it got heavier. Right? Of course, they could drink the rainwater also lah. So the rain put out the fire. So they didn't have to run further to the jungle already, right? The rain put out the fire, and the rain filled their watering holes. There were holes that they made in the grassy area. And of course, with the rain, the plants could grow again. So they didn't have to make that long trip to the edge of the jungle. Some might die in the long journey, isn't it? So everyone will soon have enough food and water. In the meantime, of course, giraffe helped by nibbling at the leaves from the tall trees around and providing some food until a few days later, some plants will grow already. Very fast, the grass will grow. So Ginger, the giraffe, went back to her favorite tree, and then she continued to munch on the leaves and buds and help Mickey the friend. So everything went on well. And everything ended happily. Everyone was very happy, isn't it? Now you can see the animation, right? The clouds, the rain coming, right? So that is the end of the story. And I hope that you have enjoyed the story just as I did. Now comes the most important part, and that is to learn the moral values, the many good lessons, including Dhamma. So you see from this story, there is much that we can learn, right? So let us go to the last slide. So this is the last slide, very important. So of course, I put this in the last slide, very important. We have in our minds this thing. May all be mindful, kindful, and peaceful. So these three very important qualities of the mind, right? Mindful, to be always aware of our surroundings, of what is happening. After we see this further in one of the points of moral lessons. Now, kindful, there is no such word actually. It was actually coined by Ajahn Brahmawamso Ajahn Brahma, right? Just to rhyme with mindful and peaceful. Kindful, actually, the word is kind only, but that's why I put it in inverted commas. Kindful means to be very good at the heart, good-hearted lah, to care for others, care and share, by-hearted lah, 好心啦, 很好心, kindful. And then, if you do good things, you'll be peaceful lah, right? So this, you could see, there were so many good animals there, right? Sometimes human beings are even more dangerous than some animals, right? These animals, they just live their life peacefully. Okay, now that's the king of the beasts, the lion. You could see the animation. So now let us look at the points, moral lessons. First important moral lesson. Practice kindness to all. A very important quality, Now in Buddhism, there's this word called metta. Now, metta translates as loving kindness. That's the best translation. Friendliness, goodwill, benevolence. But the best is loving kindness. So, if we practice metta, and kindness, involving kindness and love also to all, you will get many, many benefits. Actually, there are 11 benefits, right? But we're not talking about that. We just say that it's very important to be kind, not only to human beings, we must be kind to all, to people, to animals, to spirits. Then you find that you'll be peaceful, you'll be protected, your mind will be good, you'll be loved by all people, the gods, and even the animals, and many benefits. So remember, always to practice kindness. The opposite is cruelty. There are some people who are very cruel. They are not kind, They are stone-hearted, hard-hearted, right? They will not help anybody in need, There are people like this. They are selfish, miserly, thinking of themselves only, right? They would not do any charity. And this is not good, right? So when you are unkind and do all the wrong things like hurting other human beings or animals, that is bad karma. And there is a price to pay. You will suffer a matter of time. And then also, when you pass away and then get reborn, you'll be reborn into a suffering world, suffering state. So very important. Practice kindness to all. Right. Next point. Help and serve those in need. Now especially, in these hard times of the pandemic, there are so many people right? Who have lost their jobs, have lost their homes, they cannot afford to rent the houses. You could see on video clip, real suffering. They are in need and they cannot find food. They don't have much savings. So we can help in whatever way. We are very fortunate. You still have a house, and then your parents, your families, you could get food. We are very lucky. So we should help what we can. Of course, now you cannot just go out like this, right? You have the MCO and things like that. But then you can actually do in various ways. Like for example, a donation. Donation can be done very easily through the internet, right? Internet. That means to transfer some donation to reliable organizations, and then they will organize things like buying the food and feed the poor people, who are homeless and so on. And then that's what is happening. There are groups of people in these organizations that have food banks, and then they go out, of course, with all the SOP with masks and so on, to the people who are dying of hunger and so on, to feed them. That is a fantastic good act. So they help and serve those in need. That generates lots of good karma. It's a fantastic dana, isn't it? Giving. So for those who cannot go out and go and give food and so on, then you can do in other ways, isn't it? Right? Sometimes I know your parents or might go to the supermarket once a while. You still have to go and buy food. So when you go to such areas, you might also see, right? You have food banks, like the day, when I went to Petronas to pump petrol, then I saw there was this big box where they had food, for poor people to come and take, and then also a donation box. You also could do that sort of things when you happen to go out. You can ask your parents to do it also. So that's a very important practice to help and serve those in need. Not only during this time, every time actually, you find there are poor people and people who are suffering. And that's where you could do the dana, right? Out of the COVID-19 times. There's so many ways that you could help and serve. Like, for example, helping in the Buddhist Association. Some children also go to help to sweep, right? And then some adults help to cook, help to teach, help to keep the place clean, and so on. So this will help all people, isn't it? Right? People who come and so on, right? And then also sometimes there are trips to the old folks home or the rumah kena cacat, right? Or the orphanage. That's where now you have the opportunity to help and serve, to bring food there, right? To bring your presence there, to talk to them with kindness, and to donate some money. So many ways. And this is the good Dhamma practice of dana, and it generates good karma, right? So people who, do the dana and then observe their precepts, they will feel happy, peaceful in this life. And next life, they will be reborn in the heavens or as fortunate human beings. So that's the second point. Now let's look at the third one. Be alert, heedful, and mindful. That's very important. And this, of course, in this story, you could see that in the giraffe, the main character, Ginger the giraffe. Well, he was very alert, and he could think, right? He could think what to do, like going to see the lion, and then remember, right? He stretched out his neck to see far ahead, to find an area where there was no fire, isn't it? And then he could lead them there. So all this requires a good mind. Apart from being kind, being caring, you must also have the mind to think well and wisely to think, isn't it? So the mind must be always alert, careful, attentive, and then very important to be mindful, to know what is happening. Like you are mindful to say, wow, the fire has started and it is spreading. So what should we do? We must quickly run, right? The animals must run as quickly as possible. So that is being careful, being alert, being wise, being mindful. So you see, from this story, we learn these important qualities. And how do we get these qualities? You don't get these qualities by just learning from the books, right? And then getting the A for your pendidikan moral, but your mind still remains dull, always sleepy, having the poor qualities like greed, always getting angry. All these are weaken the mind, right? So remember these very important qualities. You can start off in school for you children by being very attentive, right? And being very careful with things. Don't be cheated by other people. And then knowing what is happening around you, right? When there's a warning, let's say an earthquake, or no earthquake in Malaysia, where there's a fire outbreak, and then you are asked to live in a certain way. So your mind is so good, alert, heedful, and mindful, then you can do the wise and right thing, isn't it? And you are very mindful, then you find that you will, not be likely to get accident. Some are not mindful, so careless, are running here and there, they fall down the staircase, hurt themselves. Or some bang into a wall, or bang into other people, including teachers, because they are not mindful, running here and there like monkeys. And monkeys are actually quite mindful. They won't bang into you. So you are worse than some of the animals, isn't it? So that's a very important quality that you must develop. To be attentive, always pay attention to what you are being taught, the instructions, the advice given by your parents, the teachers, and then to be careful, 小心, and then to be mindful, right? 正念. So let's look at the fourth one. Cope with hardship bravely and patiently. Now, in our lives, you find sometimes trouble will come. Sometimes we have problems. Sometimes you have conflict. Sometimes there will be hardship. Now, if you really study, understand, and practice the Dhamma, then you will know what to do. You won't be the type of, see lo, say lo, die already, this problem, all this. The mind becomes negative. You cannot cope with the little trouble or little problems that come and they will go off also. So you must learn to be patient, must learn to be enduring. That means to be having endurance, to bear with the little pain or little hardship. Of course, with the wisdom, then you will do the necessary things. Like for example, sometimes when you get sick, there is a problem, you say. So instead of complaining and so on, then you think and say, oh, everybody gets sick. There's some pain. I will be more patient. I bear with it. Then, of course, wisdom tells you that if your sickness is not improving, so then you see the doctor and take the medicine, right? So you are brave, you are courageous, right? You don't panic and you don't have negative thoughts that makes it worse and complain until you make all the people in your house right? Very, very disturbed, cannot sleep. So some children are like that. They like to complain and complain, cause a lot of havoc at home. So from here you can see, right? So the animals, of course, they did not make the terrible sound and cry and sit there, isn't it? Right? And of course, the giraffe, Ginger, right? He was patient and he was brave, right? To go to find the other animals, right? So the animals actually display mindfulness, alertness, carefulness, right? And then also they did the necessary lah. So when the leader Ginger told them to run, of course they all right, and they did not fight and push one another as human beings would, right? So that is a very important quality, to be patient, to be able to bear with some problems or hardship. But you know that everything will not last forever and ever. They will pass, isn't it? Nothing is permanent. So just now you saw the story, right? So it was a dry season, right? But it also would not last. Only thing is sometimes you drag on longer and they have problem with the food, the animals, right? And then the bushfire. So again, it will not go on forever until all die, isn't it? So in this case, you could see the rain came. So that is life. Sometimes unfortunate or bad things, you call them, happening, but also good things and blessings coming. If you want to have more blessings in your life, then very important Dhamma teaching is this. You must not do all the bad things, right? You know lah, I've talked to you all, what are the bad things, right? Killing lah, stealing lah, disturb other people lah, lying lah, scolding lah, taking drugs, or all this, you know, right? And your mind must always be filled with good things, metta, helping mind, right? And then the other thing is you must do more and more good. That's a very important principle. If you know more, if you do more and more good, then blessings will come, right? Sooner or later. Sometimes quite fast, sometimes later in life. And it will come also. You get them again in the next life, future life. So important thing is you must always do the good things. You know what the good things are, right? Giving, that's dana. You must always do that, right? So many ways you can do dana, charity, helping and serving people, isn't it? And then the next one is sila. Sila means to keep your precepts, to have good morality, right? Don't do those unwholesome or so-called bad things. So must always keep the precepts. You know what the precepts are, 5 precepts. And the third thing is bhavana, which means we must make the mind better and better. To develop the mind to think more wisely, right? More kindly, and then also to be able to be calm, right? To be tranquil, right? Not to panic easily, and then to have positive thinking. All this we must train. Otherwise, your old habits, all the bad things will come and overwhelm you. And for that, the best way is through the Dhamma, through learning about the Dhamma, understanding the Dhamma, and practicing the Dhamma. Then you will know how to live a life that is wise, a life that is moral, righteous, and you will get the blessings. Then you'll be more happy and peaceful. So that is this presentation for today. I hope you have found the story interesting. More important is what we can learn from the story, isn't it? And of course, one good thing you can do also is to share with others, to care and share. Just like the giraffe, very caring, isn't it? To care and share, which means that you can share this presentation or this story, right, to your friends. Because it's on the internet, on the YouTube, even on the slide share. Then, of course, if you don't know about now, young people, they know what to do. They can download it even, right? They download the presentation, save it, or they can even send, by WhatsApp or email, right? Or Facebook. Oh, now very smart, the young ones. They can send to their friends. Don't go and send all them some some they just share all those crazy dancing crazy singing and then all the violent games all these will not bring you the blessings. It's only sharing the good things, right? Good talks, right? Or something you see in a good video clip or a Dhamma lesson presentation. These are the good things. If you share, then the blessings will come, because sharing the Dhamma, right, is a meritorious action. So to conclude, right, so we'd like to thank all of you, right, for following the presentation, right? And also I would like to thank all the parents, grandparents, and also all the teachers of Buddhist Sunday School. In fact, everybody lah, right? Who has taken time to follow this presentation and learn important Dhamma, and also aspire to spread the Dhamma. So let us conclude by saying sadhu 3 times. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. May all be well, happy, healthy, and peaceful. Do take care.